I love pirates, but only in video games and movies, and not in real life.
Do you want to pillage, steal, sexually exploit disabled people?
Ever since I was a wee lad and played the Pirates of the Caribbean Lego game on my DS, then watched the movies, I have wanted to be a pirate. The only way to live out my dreams nowadays is either to move to Florida or play pirate video games, and there is one game that rises above the rest. Sid Meier's Pirates was released in the year of our Lord, 2004, by this man, Sid Meier, the maker of Sim Golf. First, how do you play this game? With WASD like any other game? With your mouse? Only if you're little baby. Real men play Sid Meier's Pirates with this, the number pad. We open with a cutscene. We play as a young boy who is having a family dinner the night before a big shipment arrives that will set up their family for life. But then, the Marquis arrives saying the fleet is lost, debts are owed, and takes our family away. We escape and swear to find our missing family and to get revenge. We jump 10 years and are now the legal age of consent in most US states and start our quest for revenge. I sign up for passage to the New World and I make my scallywag. I name myself after my favorite historical figure. I choose my difficulty level, skill, and start date. Around 1660 was the golden age of piracy, so I choose that one. Now for the hardest decision. What country am I siding with? We have the French, the Spanish, the Dutch, or the English. There are no morally right Europeans in the world, so I go with the lesser evil and pit the Dutch. The conditions aboard our ship are of your average Amazon warehouse, so we mutiny and kick the captain out. My pirate life now starts for real. We enter our first port of St. Martin and talk to the governor. In the first 5 seconds of our conversation, he gives us a license to kill any Spanish boat we see and shows us the closest enemy city of San Juan. I, of course, take up his offer and now have the approval from the Dutch to go hunting for their enemies. I pick up a few new recruits at the tavern and we set out for our first ship-to-ship battle, and here is probably the best part of the game. Dodging and weaving between cannon fire while shooting cannons of your own is so much fun. We do some damage and board to take the ship for ourselves, and we have a sword duel with the captain. This is one of the many games that is basically just push the captain as far back as you can until you win, or your crew kills the enemy crew. Now we have captured our first ship and head back to St. Martin for a promotion. Not before looting a few French ships as well. Not because the Dutch told me so, but because I wanted to. I go back to town, sell my loot, repair and sell my extra ships, but I don't get my promotion, so I head back out to go spill some more Spanish blood to further my workplace ambitions. When you enter a town, you have a few things you can do. You can go to the tavern, which is the best place to recruit fresh blood for your pirating needs, get info from the bartender and bar hand, and finally talk to the sketchy dealer sitting in the back. He is basically the equivalent of the cool senior in high school who would sell you vapes in the bathroom. There is also the shipwright for getting upgrades and repairs to your ship, and the merchant who will sell your legally acquired merchandise. You can also buy products from him to haul to other cities to sell for profit. You could spend the whole game just buying cheap goods in a poor city, run them to a wealthy city, and sell them for hire. But that's boring, and the voices in my head yearn for the blood of the Spanish. I get a piece of a treasure map from the cool senior, get more crew, and head back out. I take on a smaller Spanish smuggler and a big war galleon and sink them both. I head to a nearby Dutch settlement and get my promotion to captain. For this playthrough, I have two objectives. The first one is to get all of my family members back, and the second one is to get enough money to have a good retirement. I buy another piece of Jean Lafayette's treasure map. I need to find the landmark Dagger Point that is near San Juan. I head out, sinking 2 British ships just for fun, and arrive at St. Eustatius to repair my ship. I hear a rumor that Jean Lafayette is hiding out at a town down south and is carrying a huge sum of doubloons. I pay the cool senior for some info on this Baron Ramondo, who has info on my missing sister. We will be hearing that name many times. I arrive near the buried treasure and anchor offshore and doing the next minigame of finding the location on land. Just use the spyglass and landmarks and you'll find everything pretty easily, and I get my first treasure worth 7,000 fat ones. I sink a few British ships, arrive back at St. Martin, get a promotion to major in 100 acres of land. I recruit men, get updates on Lafayette, get a new treasure map in the tavern. I raid and pillage the British and Spanish, get a second map piece, and find Henry Morgan's treasure, slowly building my wealth for my sweet retirement. I head back to port, sell my ship and goods, learn of Baron Ramondo's location, and the cool senior offers me a sweet deal. A set of balanced swords that will help me in sword duels. Always buy the items that help with the minigames because you will need them. The duel minigame can be cheesed after getting a few items, but you will need all the help you can get with the dancing. I leave to hunt down Baron Ramondo, and after beating him in a duel, he gives me a piece of the map that leads to my sister's location. There are 3 to 4 map pieces for each family member. This is gonna take a while. I go undercover to a French port and get a promotion instantly, but I plan on betraying these baguette eaters as soon as possible. I get another treasure map, and I'm starting to amass a decent pile of booty. My Dutch overlords are no longer at war with the Spanish, but solely the British, so I sink a few of their ships to get my promotion to colonel. I buy a ring as a gift to a lady, learn that Baron Ramondo has returned like a Saturday morning cartoon villain, so I go to leave. But I make a massive blunder. I sell my small pirate ship and start using the massive galleon I repossessed from the Baron. Smaller ships are faster and can basically drift out of the way of cannon fire, which makes me basically untouchable in ship-to-ship battles. I have a few battles with the galleon and regret my decision, but I'm gonna keep it until I can find a ship I like. In my infinite wisdom, I decided to use my bid ship to get a large crew to spread the Dutch influence to other cities. So I attack a very heavily fortified British town with not enough men. This brings me to the next minigame of city invasions, and I totally get smoked. But at least the music's really good. Land battles are decently fun, but I have a strategy that I saw on Reddit, which is just rush the town with 1 unit because it's all you need to win. I do some more exploring, dig up another treasure, get a promotion to admiral, and meet the governor's daughter, and she is beautiful. Why is that important? Because I kid you not, there are 3 tiers of women that you come across: plain, attractive, and beautiful, which is crazy. Also, the higher tiered the lady is, the bigger her honkers are. Of course, I use my pirate charm to pick her up, but this chick won't dance with me until I'm Baron rank. Unbelievable. So I go do some more plundering. I did a few more special items for dueling, like the pistols and puffy shirt. I go on a spree of treasure hunting and boat sinking and head back to Navis for my promotion. After using all of my swashbuckling charm to win her over, she tells me the location of our favorite Baron, so I head out to pay him a visit. On my way south, I run into Jean Lafayette, and it may look bad for me with his 89 men versus my 33, but the dueling special items are too good and I win either way. So you may have noticed the frowny face next to my number of crew on board. That would be the ship's morale. There is a system in the game where after sailing for a while, the crew will start to whine and either desert or try to mutiny, and the only way to stop that is to sail into a port, divide your wealth, and start a new crew. In a normal game, you would divide loot, up your difficulty, and go back out into the Caribbean. But I have another idea.
Today's subject: slavery.
I will be using the Davy Jones method, where if I have around 1,000 gold per crewmate, they will not be happy, but will never try to do a mutiny. So basically, I will never divide my loot, and will be holding onto these poor sailors aboard my ship forever. I fight the Baron for the 3rd time, and I almost have a full map to find my lost sister. I sail north to Port Royal, and finally my frontal lobe activates when I remember that I should be using a smaller, more nimble ship, and I set sail to Santo Domingo to steal another treasure and add it to my fortune. Looking for more info on my sister, I run into another one of the top 10 pirates, Lulune, and he calls me a no-good treasure stealer, so I take him off the leaderboard. I do some more plundering, I go get a promotion at a different Dutch port. Turns out, the governor's daughter here is of the attractive variety, and she invites me to the ball. But the game knew about my sneaky link, and did me dirty by removing the hints for the dancing minigame. After being humiliated, I learned that the Baron had appeared again, but this time, a million miles away. So I set out to get the last piece of map for my sister, and along the way, run into Henry Morgan. So I do a 1965 drive-by and end his pirating career. I recruit more men into my mobile labor camp and press on to Mexico. I finally run into the Baron and get the final map piece for my sister. I continue to grow my wealth and dig up more treasure, but finally, I arrive at Santa Maria to get my lost sister back. At this point, I have spent around 6 in-game years finding one family member, and I was just told to do all of this 3 more times before I get my whole family back. It's time to lock in before I die from old age. My sister gives me the location of Marquis Montalban, who wronged our family. I find his ship and defeat him for the first time. I get a map piece with the location to his stronghold and a very nice chunk of change. I end my life of skankery and go back to my original Dutch love in Navis. I give her a nice ruby ring and she tells me the location of my missing uncle. On my way to meet the Baron again, I fight some French ships, but instead of fighting, they surrender. And upon returning to my home base, I did a promotion and talked to my beloved. I learned that she's already engaged and my gift made her fiance upset, so I just go kill her fiance. I find Baron Ramondo and drive my ship right into some rocks. I reset my save, beat him, and get the first map piece from my uncle. I arrive at a small Dutch settlement and the barkeep tells me Raimondo's next location, so I sail there to get the next uncle map piece. But this map piece is different and tells me the city my uncle is closest to, so I go and rescue him. My uncle tells me that Marquis Montalban has returned and is back near Gibraltar. Heading towards Montalban, I dig up the 9th and final treasure in the game, with my net worth being around 100k. I arrive in Gibraltar and he isn't there, but was heading towards Santiago, so I sail my pretty little pirate ass up north to catch him. On the way, I dock at a settlement and return to a life of debauchery by charming another attractive Dutch lady, and she gives me a new set of swords, so my sin was worth it. I leave and run into Montalban, defeating him again and get a map piece for his stronghold, and it's a million miles away up in Mexico. I run into the Baron again, get info on my lost aunt, and head off to Marquis Montalban's stronghold. I arrive, but it's another ground battle, and I don't have enough men. Montalban has allied himself with the natives, and they destroy my small band of swashbucklers. I sail up and down Mexico, building my army. I return to do what a group of 17th century Europeans do best: colonize. All of my units die but one, and we slip into the stronghold to face Marquis Montalban and get our revenge. We have a duel, receive a huge sum of coin, and having been defeated, Montalban joins us as our cabin steward to help us rejoin our family. We have the fortune, we have our revenge. Now we just need the 2 remaining family members. Leaving the stronghold, our old friend the Baron is now on the complete other side of the map, so we sail over to his location, we fight, and I get the second piece of the map to find my aunt. I head back to Nevis, and the governor says I'm close to my next promotion of Duke. I dance with his daughter and almost failed the minigame. Then leave to sink a few Spanish ships to make my Dutch boss happy. A few hundred Spanish deaths later, I return for my new rank, but turns out a Colonel Mendoza has kidnapped his daughter, so I head out to save my future wife and secure my promotion. After a while of sailing and one duel later, I save the governor's daughter, but I don't return just yet because Baron Raimondo is north of me. The Baron is defeated for what feels like the 20th time and completes the map for my missing aunt. I sail to her location and set her free. Raimondo shows up again, and I did a map piece for my final family member, Grandpa. But this map piece is different. It gives me his location right off the bat, and I'm really close. I head back to Gibraltar, and after a little bit of searching, I save my grandfather. I head back to Nevis, sinking a few Spanish ships just for good measure, and having saved all my family members, I marry the governor's daughter and finally retire from my pirate life. This game has 19 different ending professions. I retire at the age of 30 in poor health and live the remainder of my days in Nevis with my wife and rescued family. I am a surgeon who got revenge on Marquis de la Montalban, found every buried treasure, got a Dutch baddie, and was the most notorious pirate in the entire Spanish Main. A pretty good ending, if I do say so myself. Sid Meier's Pirates is 20 years old, but no other game has come close to the levels of freedom this game provides to fulfill your pirate dreams. Sure, AC Black Flag has better boarding combat, and Sea of Thieves is fun with friends, but I believe that this is the best pirate game ever made. Play this game right now. Thank you for watching, and if this video gets 100 likes, I'll play Sim Golf.